I love when we get to see the scarier part of Dionysus. You can easily see it in the Bacchae by Euripides, which I covered in one of my videos, and you can see it in the following story as well, which takes place at around the same time. Now, without further ado, let's go! Acoetes and the Lydian sailors. We start with Pantheus, king of Thebes, the grandson of Cadmus. He is talking to Tiresias, a blind prophet who seems to be kind of everywhere. Tiresias warned Pantheus of a new god that will soon be coming. He urged the king to pay respects to the new deity, to build him a new temple. If he won't do that, then let's say Pantheus is not gonna come home in one piece. But Pantheus ignores all the warnings, and when Dionysus is indeed rumored to come into Thebes, Pantheus captures one of his acolytes, Acoetes. The king asks why does Acoetes follow this new unknown god, and Acoetes replies, recounting his story. Acoetes used to be a sailor, skilled in steering and navigating the ship. Once him and his crew were on their way to Delos, but the wind thought otherwise and swept them on the island of Chios. There they spent the night. In the morning, a good wind was blowing to help the sailors set sail, and so Acoetes called all his men to the ship. But the sailors found a prize for themselves on the island. A beautiful boy who seemed to be struggling to stay on his feet, a bit drowsy and drunk. Acoetes looked at the boy, at the way he dressed, the way he walked, the way he moved, and he was sure that this isn't an ordinary human, but a god inhabiting this body. Acoetes warned the sailors of a divine presence, but they paid him no mind. He tried to stop them taking the boy on board, but one of the sailors, Lycabas, punched him into the throat and out of the way. The cheering of the crew seemed to awaken the boy out of his drowsiness, and he looked at the sailors around him. He asked them where they were taking him, and the sailors in turn asked the boy to ask of any harbor to go to. Naxos, the boy replied, and the ship set sail. Every single sailor went to Acoetes to tell him to not actually steer to Naxos, but to a different place. And at last Acoetes left the helm, saying that he wants no hands in this crime. Another sailor took up the steering, and as soon as they turned the wrong way, the god looked them in the eyes. "You are going the wrong way," he said, pretending to weep. "Where are you taking me? Why me, a solitary boy?" But all the sailors just laughed at both him and Acoetes, who was now weeping on his own. At that moment, the ship stopped. It didn't move, no matter how hard the sailors tried to row. The oars began to tangle with ivy, which spiraled and tangled into the ship. Who was standing there was not a boy anymore, but Dionysus. There was a mirage of wild beasts around him, with panthers, tigers, and lynxes. His head was adorned with gravelets. The sailors were struck by madness and fear, as suddenly one of the sailors' spine bended in an unnatural way. His skin darkened. Other sailors tried to speak, only to find that his mouth prolonged into a snout. His hands disappeared, turning into fins. The sailors plunged into the waters, their bodies turned into those of dolphins. Acoetes was the only one who stayed on the ship with the god, and together they made their way to Naxos, where Acoetes joined the rites of Dionysus and its mysteries. The end. I hope you enjoyed. I really like this one. The descriptions of the sailors turning into dolphins are terrifying, and as I said at the start, I love seeing this less explored, scary side of Dionysus. So I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, bye bye! Oh, and check out my coffee shop if you want me to draw you something. Okay, bye bye!